Also, percolating, if not flat out boiling in the NFL, came out of nowhere on Sunday. Nowhere. Culture wars. Culture wars. We need a little distraction. Quit talking about that other thing. Let's talk about the name of the Washington Commanders. The president took to Truth Social with a mandate. Immediately change the name of the Commanders. Get it done. The Cleveland Guardians also were part of it, but it was mainly focused on the fact that the Commanders changed 5 years ago their name that is now a dictionary-defined slur. Language changes over time. There are plenty of words that were fine and dandy once upon a time and no longer are. Stuff happens. The president wants the Commanders to go back to the old name. And that ended up being a big story, and he recognized it was a big story, so he swooped back in later in the day, and he did the thing that somebody has been predicting he'll eventually do. Part of the quid pro quo for getting a stadium built in D.C. with the help of the commander-in-chief, the Commanders have to change their name back to what it was. I may require them to do it if they want my help in getting this done. That's the clearest sign yet. And we've seen it swirling. You've got the president talking about maybe they should go back to their old name. You've got stories that maybe the federal government's going to get involved because D.C. Council is dragging their feet. They've dragged their feet past the point where D.C. had exclusive negotiating rights with the Commanders. Maryland and Virginia reportedly already in touch with the team about possible stadium deals. You want to be in D.C., you may have to go back to the old name. And to their credit, the Guardians issued comments. It wasn't a statement. I think it was quotes directly from one of their executives that they're not changing their name, despite this pressure from the most powerful person in the free world. The Commanders haven't said anything. I sent 2 emails yesterday to multiple PR people who are handling this thing for the Commanders, specifically handling this issue. No response to 2 different emails. NFL, no response to 2 different emails. Look, I understand that they're trying to tiptoe very gingerly with the president. They don't want the president to direct an executive order at the NFL. We've seen it with the Rooney Rule and diversity efforts. Just trying to tiptoe. No sudden moves. Let's not become the focal point. We've seen what happens to the other entities that have become the focal point of the president's attention. We don't want that. We're not going to say anything. We've already got his attention. He's saying immediately change the name. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? Are you going to stand up and say we're not going to do it? Or are you just going to act like it never happened? Are you going to hide under the bed and just pretend that it never occurred and hope that everyone moves on and hope that the president moves on to something else? I assume that's what they're doing, but I still think at some level, I think Josh Harris would kind of like to go back to the old name. I think he would. He knows he can't say it. And as I've said in the past, having the president basically demand it, man, that provides cover. Hey, I didn't want to go back to the old name, but this is the only way we're getting a stadium. So we got to choose between Commanders or DC Stadium. And we only get the DC Stadium if we go back to the old name. I guess we got to go back to the old name because we want the DC Stadium. Regardless, at some point, they need to say something because it does seem like the Commanders are being cowardly, that they're afraid of the reaction. They're afraid of what the president may say. They're afraid of this, afraid of that. We've got too many people who are afraid nowadays. Everyone's afraid. Nobody wants to speak the truth because we're afraid of the consequences. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.